Hello, hello. I'm Melissa.
And I'm Donna.
We're here sharing what we've learned as women, entrepreneurs, and moms.
All while rocking our curves with confidence.
It's a behind-the-scenes look at our lives and businesses.
And a chance to tell our younger selves, go do the things that scare you.
I hear a lot about AI. I think it's interesting. I think when you actually really know about it, it's interesting, but it's actually really scary.
It is very scary. It is. And so while we were away, there was something on about the CN Tower burning and how Google search had gone so incredibly crazy on whether or not the CN Tower was burning, and it was AI. It was an AI generated image, but it looked so real.
Nuts.
And it's like,
I know. What's real and what's not real.
It is, right?
There's a lot of that going around. Well, because I love everything reality. Housewives, 90 Day Fiance. There's a young woman on there who had a baby when she was with this man. Anyway, there's a picture that circulated on the weekend, and it was like pregnant with her second baby. So I sent it to my sister-in-law, and she sent it back to me last night and said it was AI generated. It wasn't real. It's like, what? It looks so real. She goes, original image, AI generated image.
Yeah, and it's going to be, like, you think about your parents. Or my parents, like, they're not going to be able to tell the difference.
My parents can, that already has happened.
We're not going to be able to tell the difference.
No.
Like, that image of the CN Tower burning looked very real, like it was a news program.
It's crazy.
It is.
Scary. Like I said, I have experience with AI, not in a good way. I've had someone using it for bad purposes towards my child. So after seeing that, I was like, I can't even tell what's real or not real. But I like learning about it. I think it's really interesting to learn about it. I think it's interesting to hear about it. It's interesting to know where it's going and how it can be used. And I didn't even know there was different AIs. I did not even know thought it was only one, ChatGPT. But now people are creating AIs for this or AI for that.
And now they have this word called AI agents, which is kind of like in my head and, very basic level understanding is kind of the little gremlins behind there that are doing the work. Mm-hmm. So it's almost like you've created a position.
Yeah.
To go and you're telling it what to do, and that becomes your AI agent. And I could be totally off base with that, but that is what I think those AI agents are.
So out of
and
this world.
Like it's fascinating and scary as hell at the same time.
Even when Jim was talking about it that day when we were talking about, so I created this to do this, and I was like,
yeah, like to be. And the one thing that I have learned is that to develop, and we talk about this a lot at the office, right? Because one of my things with being having a staff is that I want to make sure that while they're with us that they have grown in their skill sets. Yeah. Right. So when AI came in, especially our marketing crew, right, like that affects marketing a lot.
Yes, it does.
Right. So it's kind of like, okay, let's take some time and let's learn some things and let's do some things. And it's a gradual thing. And, if you're in your 20s or you're in your 60s, to not pay attention is wrong.
Yeah.
And it can help you, like it can help you plan a trip. Like you can put in, like I am going to Lisbon for 4 days in this time of the year. I want to eat at 3 restaurants that are this star. I want to be, listen to authentic, and it will plan out your whole trip for you.
That's awesome. It's like when I use it for hockey, the same thing. I do use it a lot more for the hockey team because it just helps with the speed of things. Like it gets things done. So in my ChatGPT, I have folders. Like I brag about it. I have real estate, podcast, and the flyers. And then I'll be like, create me a game day post for today. Dun, dun, dun. And it just does it. It allows me to not think about it, but then I know it's there. But even if I use it, I do change it a lot. I try to change it because sometimes I find it sounds too much like AI, right?
Yes.
But with the hockey team, it's different, I find.
It's great for idea gathering. Like even if you have a whole bunch of ideas in your head, you can sit down and say, like, these are my thoughts. This is what I want to do. Yeah. Can you come up with an outline?
I used it in real estate the other day, and I haven't used it in this capacity. I use it a lot for write me a caption for my Instagram based on this photo. This is kind of what I want to say or touch base with. But I was like, I need this letter written, and here are the points that I want in it. And I did not have the mental capacity to do it, but I knew I needed to do it. And I was like, write me this letter for this situation. And it wrote it. And I was like, edited it.
Yeah. Right.
Like,
yeah. You gotta edit it so it I
do use it. I think
I used it for a sponsorship. So we do our annual conference.
That's smart.
And one of the places that I applied to for sponsorship money, didn't get it, but still. So it had asked about this. I can't even remember the wording now, but I'm like, I don't even know what that is. So I went into chat and I'm like, okay, we're doing our annual conference. We have stylists coming from across Canada. The conference is about growth and learning and companionship and, like being better. We're looking for sponsorship for it. This is what they're asking for. Can you draft it? As our sponsorship agent, draft me, blah, blah. And the thing it produced was like, oh my God, I so professional.
I know. I've used it for that situation.
Like, I've never even heard of this thing they were asking for. And then it was like, okay, now this is our new standard. Right? So it just levels you up. But again, and I think this is our talking point today. You have to put it in your authentic voice.
Yeah. Right? I agree. And yes, you do. You're right. Because in my real estate one, I had a human design reading done, and it was very brief. I should have a full one, but very brief. And it says, put this prompt into your chat GPT, and it says, I'm a 4-1, I don't remember what I am, projector, blah, 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 blah. And then create my social media post based on that. And because that's who authentically I am. And I've done it before where I don't use my human design. And then I say, no, align it with my human design. And it just sounds so much more like me.
Oh, that's so interesting. Is really I don't even know what human design is. It's like a whole kind of like personality type.
It is, but they use I think she uses your birth date, your time you were born, and location. It's kind of like
numerology, but a little bit.
But more definitive, I think. I don't know the exact term. I'm going to find it out. I will find it out and let you know. But a girlfriend of mine did it years ago, and she did me a reading, and I was like, okay, I didn't really understand it. And then part of this meditation group I'm part of, she had Tuesday nights, she has these people come in and speak, and she had Tiffany, I think her name's Tiffany Jacobs, and she came in and you just provided, I think you just enter it online, and then I gave her mine. She's okay, what is everybody? It's a very long term, and she's like, what is your number? And I said 4-1. She says 4-1. She goes, I've never met a 4-1. And I was like, oh, is that a good thing? And then she messaged me after. She says, we need to talk about it. Just because it's a very rare number to be in human design. And I don't remember the term. I should get my phone and read it to you. But it's pretty interesting. Like if I read it to you,
you'd be like, wow, spot on.
I'm going to get my phone.
Okay.
It's right here, actually. It was really interesting. And I found it much easier to understand with her than anybody else. So let me look it up. So I do use AI, and I use that, but I use it because it's more authentically like myself.
Yeah.
Let me see.
You do, because it'll spit out words like, that are so not you. And it's like, who speaks like that? No. Nobody, right? But I do like that it can take your kind of scrambled thoughts and put it into order, a great order. And then it generates other ideas, I find. I can go, and what about blah, 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 blah.
And I think it almost starts the conversation with yourself.
Yes.
Right? But I agree with you. You need to be authentic in everything you do. And for me, this was a huge talking point. Human design.
So let's talk about how you find your authentic voice and what you would define that as.
For me, I think it's just being me.
And so if you think about your 20-year-old self, and you're
I don't feel like I've changed from
20 plus. Do you feel like, or even, younger, like, how does it develop? How do you step into it? Because I do not feel like I have the same voice now that I did.
I agree with you on that.
In my earlier years.
I agree with you on that.
Even in my 30s, I would say I'm a different person.
I think life experiences, maybe. life experiences. I think that for me, maybe the experiences I've gone through and how I've reacted to them, and then coming through it on the other side, and you're like, maybe I liked how I reacted to that. Maybe I didn't like how I reacted to that. Maybe I should have said something that I didn't say. But I think I talk from the heart most of the time, but I think I'm situational when I speak from the heart. I think it's more about the situation. Being younger, I think I was quieter. Maybe I was less myself than I am today. I think that life experiences and how I'm feeling will give me a more authentic voice, maybe.
I think for me, it's the feeling crappy about things. And like, I don't want that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want that anymore.
Yeah.
And what do I do about it, kind of thing.
How do I want to feel instead of how am I feeling?
Yeah. Or, right? Like, you know, if I look back and I think about the different times.
I don't want to feel like that.
Yeah. Right. Like, I don't want to feel marginalized. I don't want to feel put down. I don't want to feel.
And what have you done to change it? Like, what do you feel you've done to change that or change over time with that?
I think it's
confidence.
I would say confidence was a long time coming with me.
I don't feel like I have that all the time.
Right. Yeah.
I still don't. And this morning was a perfect example.
And I think that's an up and down, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think, like, to say that you're confident all the time. No, it depends which situation you're sitting in. It depends what's going on around you, that feeling of overwhelm or underwhelm, right? I think that all affects your confidence. And maybe we put too much pressure on confidence because, you know, if you think back, like, would you feel different about yourself if you had confidence all the time? Maybe what makes us real is that we don't have confidence all the time, right? That we get to a point where we feel really confident in what we're doing. And then it's an opportunity to learn something new, right?
Yeah.
I don't know
either. I think maybe confidence for me comes from knowing something. Like, and feeling like I know something. So I don't even know if that's confidence. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel good about real estate. So it's easy for me to talk about real estate. I feel confident in what I'm saying. I feel like I can speak my authentic voice. But then I look at that and I say, why do I feel more confident or authentic today in real estate than I did 20 years ago? And for me, I think that's come from experiences I've had in my life. So when I was 20 years old selling real estate, people were like, oh yeah, mortgage and interest rates in the 1980s. And I was like, I was 10 years old and playing with Barbie dolls. Like, I don't know what that was. And I didn't feel like, I felt like I was lying about what I was saying back then. Not that I was lying, but it's like, I was
didn't have that experience.
Yeah, experience. I didn't have I was getting a mortgage. I was buying my first home. I didn't have kids. Not that kids make you any different, but there was a lot of people that I dealt with that had kids that were experiencing maybe a upgrade in a home or like an upsize or a downsize, or I didn't have all those experiences behind me to feel like I can speak authentically. Now it's like, fuck, I feel like I've been through everything with real estate. I bought a home, I sold a home, I rented a home, I've refinanced a home. I've done it all. So for me, I feel that I've
grown into multi-generation and pulled back and
today, Lucas is 20 years old today. I don't have a teenager anymore. Right. So I feel like I'm experienced. Yeah. So maybe I'm more authentic in that, where I don't feel like when I'm authentic, not that I'm not authentic about myself, but it's like sometimes I feel like I don't know. Like, I can speak authentically about things a lot, but then it's like, am I sure about that? You know, did I say it wrong? Did I do it right? Like, there's always something behind it. Where real estate, I don't feel like I'm wrong. Maybe I am wrong, but it's different. I think for me, it comes from experiences and going through those experiences myself.
Yes.
So for that,
I do think like that really helps build your voice and find your voice.
Yeah.
That you may not know it right away, right? And it's something that you're finding and you're building on, and it's okay to not be okay with it. The same voice that you had in your 20s.
Yes.
To be the one that you have.
You shouldn't have
later.
the same voice. You shouldn't. I don't think you should have the same voice. How can you have the same voice when you're 20 years old that you have today, or when you're 15 years old or 10 years? Like, how can you have that same voice? You don't have.
Because you're going to grow.
Yeah. And if you don't grow, then I think that's a problem too, right? I think you need to be able to grow. You have to be willing to grow. You have to be, and that is a big point in my family at least, is that there's always something to learn. You don't know everything. You need to learn something new every day. And it could be the silliest thing, but you're like, oh, wow, I didn't know that. And understand that you didn't know that and that you're learning that. So I think you always have room to grow. I think you take from those experiences and it becomes who you are, because I think a lot of people talk from experience, right?
And
I do.
And so funny, because I was driving home, I was home to see my folks on the weekend and dealing with some stuff, and coming back I was thinking about my dad's 87, my mom's 85, and how many great memories I've been able to have with both of them. And I remember going for some therapy. I was probably in my 40s, and my life's journey has been marred by a lot of alcohol related issues, right? And so throughout all of the different decades, alcohol has been involved somehow in a negative way. So that has, changed my identity with alcohol for different situations. And so in dealing with some of that stuff, how it affects you throughout life, I was in this therapy with this lady, and she was teaching me about setting boundaries and setting, and I think it was a big eye opener, because especially as women, you are brought up to listen to authority, to, take care of, to always be there. And it was the permission to say no and to walk away and to set a boundary for yourself.
It's hard.
Right? It was,
so
right?
hard.
Especially when it comes to family related stuff, because
Yes.
there is that intention. And so one of the things that she said was to cut ties with. And I went home and I struggled with that for many
Sure
weeks.
You would. Anyone would.
And eventually I came to no, that's not where I am at. That's not, I think, what will be healthy for me. I had a lot of conversations with Sean about it, and thought through the different scenarios and stuff, and came to a point where it's like, no, I'm just setting boundaries, and I'm teaching my kids to set boundaries, which was different, right? Like, it's okay to say no to things and walk away so that it keeps you safe. They can do whatever they want. Again, with the Mel Robbins, right? Let them.
Yeah.
Let them do whatever they want. You do not have to stay in that situation.
Hard, right?
And I think that was the biggest lesson I learned. But also, okay, here's a person of authority and education telling me, like, sever ties. And it just didn't feel right to me, right?
It's hard.
That was not her journey with stuff. Was much different from my journey with stuff. And so and I think finding your authentic voice comes into that, right? Like,
yes,
you're going to pull in lots of information from different people, but you have to do
what's right for you.
Right. And it's trusting that gut, right? And I think when you're struggling and when you're back and forth, it's your gut telling you, okay, something's out of whack. And so it took me a while to figure it out. It didn't just come overnight. But I look back and I think, okay, if I had severed ties, like, I would missed out on decades of great memories that we've had. And we just needed to adjust situations to know what is healthy and what is safe and what is,
That's very, very smart of you.
Well, I don't think it's that I'm
do.
smart.
Like,
I think it's just
very brave,
you
actually.
work through it.
Like, a lot of people would be like, okay, but to recognize what didn't work for you is very brave.
Well, and it's difficult because you're with a therapist.
Yeah.
That is,
and once again, not everybody's
educated,
for everybody. Yeah.
Right? They're educated in this, and it's kind of like, okay, like, I can't do that. Yeah. And some situations you have to, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think too, like, advocating for yourself at the doctor. Like you just say it like that, right? Yeah. It's like if something doesn't feel right and you feel like you don't. I was just talking to Jim about it. I said, I remember when Lucas was little and he had this like serum sickness, and they told me started here as a little rash, and then it went to his ear, and like it progressed over like 5, 6, 7, 8 days, and every day was getting worse, and on his neck, and then and then the last day he woke up and his whole side of his face was swollen. I was like, okay, this is enough.
Yeah.
Like I think I went to 3 or 4 different walk-in clinics. I saw I think it was by the 8th doctor's appointment, I was like, this is just not right. This is not right. And I think it's okay to be like, no, something's not sitting right with me. You adjust and you change and you go, okay, no, and you listen to yourself. But it's hard when you take it from professionals, right? Mm-hmm. But they're human too, right? They're human too. And they make mistakes and they don't know and they're learning and all that sort of stuff. But listening to yourself and saying, no, this doesn't work for me, and being okay with that is huge.
And I think learning that to listen to your gut, I think that was a really important lesson in life. Mm-hmm. And that's that uncomfortable knot that happens.
No. It's scary. It's scary, though, because sometimes you're like, you want to listen to your gut, and then you're like, I don't know, is it going to cause, like, friction?
Yeah,
and
I know.
You don't want to, like, ripple the water, and then you're like, okay, but it doesn't feel right.
Looked as the drama queen, or she's so much work.
But even in relationships. Like, I think for Paul and I this year was really hard. Like I've said it before, it's been a really hard year. Everything is moving in a positive direction, but this is the year I said, you know what, I need to express how I feel about certain things. And I'm like, I don't know what this is going to do. I don't know how this will sit with him, but I just need to tell him how I'm feeling. Right? And
because if you don't say stuff, it eats at you.
And I think sometimes the receiving end to everybody's different. So for me, I'm the type of person where I hear something. If I don't like it, I'll say it right away. Like, I don't like that. Or where I think with Paul, he sits with it a day or two. And then you have to be the person to say, okay, I'm going to say it. It may not sit well with him. Give him a couple of days, and then maybe the conversation will come back, right? So it's both in saying it and receiving it. I think you have to be true to yourself too, right? Like even in that situation, sometimes I've even said in the last little while, listen, I get what you're saying. I don't really appreciate it, or I don't like what's going on, or whatever it is. Just give me a little bit of time. And then you sit with it and you're like, okay, what are they trying to say? What are they trying to do? You have to respect that. And teaching kids that is, I think, the hardest thing, because I don't think I've learned it all either, right? And I'm learning constantly. Like I'm trying to, you got to set your own boundaries, and teaching kids that, like, we're going through a situation and I tell Lucas, like, you know, you got to set boundaries or this and that. But I'm like, I then need to set boundaries within the situation. Like, it's easy for me to tell you to do it, but then you have to listen to the boundaries that I want to set within the situation and respect that, right? And it's okay. I feel bad at some points, but I'm like, no, I need this boundary in order to go on with my day. Because if I don't have this boundary, then I'm always worried about him.
Yeah.
Right. So it's hard. It's a very hard thing to do. But I think you find that voice in the experiences you go through. And I think that you start to draw on things, like you said, that don't make you feel good, that you want to change how you feel. This is not for me right now. This is not how I want to feel. This is not what I'm doing. This is not what I want to do. And then you adjust. And it's okay to change, right? It's okay to grow and change with it.
Like, I think of Greta something Berg.
Is she on a housewife?
No.
She's not a housewife?
She is that young activist, environmental activist, who at a young age, like 15 or 16, was out. And so I think, like, at that young age, she found her authentic voice.
It's amazing.
Right? Like, so...
Why didn't I have that when I was 15 years old?
Or, so there are some people that are drawn to it very, very early and very adamant about it.
Where does that come from?
Yeah.
Like, what is different in their life?
That, I think, is a level of confidence that is strong. And so it'd be interesting to see why she had so much confidence at such a young age to go out and, right? Because you're setting yourself up for some...
Yeah, like, were her parents... like supportive of everything. Like, I don't know. That's interesting.
It is.
It'd be interesting to find out like what kind of, like what was her environment in order for her to feel that confident or that okay with going out and just speaking her truth.
Or is that innocence that happens in youth, that you're not jaded by the world and you know. But I think it's important to remember that your voice changes with you.
It does. And then I think, has your voice changed?
Oh,
like
yes.
you said, it's changed between the last, like even in the last year, has your voice changed?
Yes, I would say definitely.
How about owning this business versus when you didn't own the business? Has your voice changed?
Yes, right. It has a different purpose.
Mm-hmm.
It's more a voice for others as well, with that purpose, and on a mission to bring awareness to women in business, to to making women stronger, and definitely, right.
I think it's awesome what you do. I say that all the time because I find you have a bigger audience. Like you have so many people you can influence or talk to on a daily basis, where it's just like me and my client or me and an individual, or like doing this to me feels like I have more of a voice than I've had before. I'm a very like one-on-one in all my businesses, whether I'm designing jewelry or talking to a real estate client. It's very situational where I don't have a broad spectrum. I don't go...
Well, and to like the voice for running a business, you are having a positive looking all the time face. Right? That voice.
Yeah.
We're here when we're sitting together. Like this is, and it isn't that it's not like we're faking anything out there. It's just we're hitting the highlights because we're leaders.
But I think this allows us to show people.
Yeah. You know, that we're real, we're human, we have
Shit
emotions,
happens, man.
right? We deal with lots of things as humans in a day. This is the person at the front of the parade that's got that flag going like, hey, come on, right? Like, let's have some fun. And then
sometimes that flag goes down and we just cry.
Yeah, you still go to bed at night and
you still worry about stuff. We had a woman, female doctor, a young woman that actually met at a networking event last year at Women's Day event at Staples, and she's a young dentist, and she took over a practice in East Oakville, and she messaged us on our account. She's like, I like that one that you talk about when you have it all and you're still chaotic or whatever it was. And I'm like, yeah, it's so true though, right? Like,
and we have started posting about this Nucking Futz podcast, and how many people have reached out to us. We're not even out there yet.
I know, it's awesome.
And because it resonates, all these things resonate, right? Like, were you looking for your authentic voice when you were in your 20s or 30s, right? Like,
I think you're just trying to be you. Like, you're trying to find yourself.
Just,
and then when you become a parent in that mix, you're like, you don't have a voice for anybody but your kids, right? You're just like going and going and going and going. I think I probably found my voice more now that my kids are older, because I'm not speaking for them. Like I'm not that I don't speak for them, but I just doing more for myself again. When I was younger, I had that. I was doing more for myself. And then you kind of give everything. Some people, like, I feel like I've given a lot, and you give that all to your children, and then you're like worried about that and doing all that. And then it's like, okay, coming back to real estate and coming back to myself, I think I've found a little bit more of myself like that, but it's hard. It's hard to do that. Mm-hmm. And it's still like every day, like talking about like being real. This morning I was like, getting ready, and I was like, okay, it's good. Great. I had meditation this morning. It was a great day, and I felt so good about it. And then I looked at the time. I'm like, oh my God, it's 8:00. I'm like, oh, I got so much little bit of time. I want to do this and that. Jumped in the shower, threw some dry shampoo in my hair, got ready, and I was like feeling good. And then I was like, looked in the mirror, and I was like, fuck, why do I look like that? And like, it's like, but I'm like, you know what? No, I'm like being authentic with it. It's like, I have this image sometimes of what I look like. And then I'm like, fuck, why don't I look like that in the mirror? Like, why? But I'm like, why does that matter? Like, why does that matter to me? I'm still going to go out today. I'm still going to have a great day. I'm going to do the things that I love. I got in my car. I went to Whole Foods, turned the music on. And then and it's just like, it goes away. But there's all these little pieces that come into play. And then I think more doing this with you over the last little while, I've been like, no, this is really who I am. And I don't really care. Like I do
I think
care.
we always do.
I care.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, I'm not really, I do care, but it's like, I don't want to care. Maybe I just don't want to care. And that's the hard part. And I'm like, you know what? I need to be true to myself. I need to be who I am. I need to just like be okay showing who I am and doing those things. So I think every day is a new day, but I try to be as authentic as possible every day. I try to be who I am, getting on Instagram, showing who I am. Like, you know, the biggest one last night, I posted this, Paul and I, our hands. And I'm like, do I post that picture? I'm like, I have a lot of tattoos. And I'm like, oh, I remember when I got my first tattoo and I was like, it was on my ankle. Nonsense. And I'm like, I don't want anyone to see it. They're going to think I'm away. But I'm like, but that's just who I am, right? This is who I am. I'm a realtor. I'm a mother. I'm a friend. I'm a sister. I'm an aunt. I'm a business owner. We're doing a podcast together. This is who I am. And I know. And I have tattoos, but this is who I am. And like, I was surprised how many likes I got on that post. I'm like, really? I'm like, hey, whatever. But it was more about just sitting in the moment, because Paul and I haven't sat in the moment. And he grabbed my hand last night and we were just sitting there watching Tulsa King.
I love Tulsa King.
It came back. It was so exciting last week. So Paul's like, I watched Wayward. Have you seen Wayward?
No.
Oh my God. I don't know. It's with Toni Collette. It's on Netflix. It is definitely very different. So I kind of binged that yesterday because it's been a weird weekend. And then Paul's like, let's just watch Tulsa King. So I watched that and he grabbed my hand and I was like, you know what? It's nice. And you forget those moments and it brings you back. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to post that picture. And then I talking about that picture. And then I looked at the picture and I'm like, why is my arm bigger than his arm? Oh. Like, I'm like, fuck, man. I'm like, then you start
I saw the funniest thing. So I used to tell the kids all the time that I was going to get wings tattooed on here. Like hummingbird wings, so when it wiggles, right? But I saw someone, they had this lady dancing like a salsa dancer on there, and I'm like, oh my God, that's so good.
That's hilarious.
And it's like, hey.
But I try to be. I think you try to be authentic.
We do, yeah.
Look at those
things. Because if you're not authentic, like you just, and so one thing that boils me are women that are trapped in situations where they can't be their authentic self. Yeah. They're trapped in abusive situations. Yeah. They're held captive by the husband earning the money and they can't get out, right? And you know that they are not living their authentic self and they have to cow down and that.
Got to find yourself, right? Yeah. And I think finding yourself at every age is hard. And for me, like I say it multiple times, coming back to real estate, I feel like I have that power again, that I feel like I have control of my life. If anything else goes crazy, I have me. Like I wasn't, raising the kids. I did have brag about it. Don't ask me why. I did have my own self. I did have a business that I was running that still is very successful, but I didn't feel myself in that business. I felt like I was always just in my house creating jewelry, not like out and being a people person and doing the stuff that fills my cup. So coming back, it's given me, I think, a little bit more feeling of power, but it's also made me feel a little bit more who I am, so that when I do speak, I feel like I speak from the heart, but I think it's every day. It's situational. I think some days are good days. Some days are bad days. Some days I don't want to do anything. Some days I don't want to post. Some days I don't want to show people things. It's like, but the reality is this is my life. We had a comment on one of our posts last week and our marketing came to me with it, and nothing boils me faster. Really?
Yeah. And that is where I use ChatGPT the most, because I do too. What I really want to say and what they let me say are two very different things.
I've used it for that.
But those are the ones I love to, there is never an acceptable time to ever degrade anybody ever.
No.
Ever. Like, if that is your mission, go away. I was interviewed for one of the chamber awards one year, and the girl interviewing me said, so do you have like a mission that you live by? I said, well, I do, but it's probably not printable. She goes, oh, now I want to know it. It's like, don't be a dickhead.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and that is a very basic human, level.
For sure.
Right? Like, just don't.
No.
Just, what is the point? Like, these are all of your sisters, your mothers, your
Yeah.
aunties, you know,
Ugh.
and you're sitting there cutting someone down.
Is that their authentic voice?
Right,
Like really, they're being authentic when
Yeah.
they post that stuff? No,
Yeah.
they're hiding behind something else.
Yeah.
So Alicia McCarville, we talked about her before.
Yeah.
I follow her, and this weekend she posted her and Scott in bed, and there was like this comment about her relationship, and he's, you know, a bodybuilder, or he works out, and she lives in a bigger body, and she talks about it, and she, you know, and I love it when she just gives it to people. It's just, she said something like the comment was something about like his sexuality and how he was faking it because he was with this person, and she's like, really? And then the best is he chimes right in. So, it was one of the things was about Nutella or something, like, I wouldn't be with a woman that eats Nutella for breakfast. She's like, I've never had Nutella for breakfast. And he's like, well, I ate Nutella off her ass this morning or something like that. And I was like, I love this guy. He is so supportive of her. He is amazing. And just like those comments, to have that in your life and to have those, like, that support is great. But it's so hard. Like I said, we've talked about it before.
Yeah.
I've never had that comment until like after we spoke about it. It
I
was like,
know, right?
Are you listening or something? And I'm like, really?
And it just makes you wonder what is wrong with people.
I
Right?
don't know.
Imagine having that sense.
Can we put our authentic voice right back to them? Like,
I know, right? Like some of the
Instagram shut.
There's like some people that do the troll comments, and one person made a whole song out of it, and it's like, you know what? Like, what is wrong with people? It just, you make you shake your head. Okay.
Totally.
So, how has using your authentic voice helped you speak up, negotiate, or assert yourself in different environments?
Myself?
I think I have found using my voice for, like I talked about, having women in situations where they're trapped. Mm-hmm. And they can't get out, or they can't see the way out, helping them navigate through and helping them know that it's okay on the other side and that, yes, they can do it, and steps to get there. I think being a voice, I'm very lucky. I have a great relationship with my husband. I have a great relationship with my kids. I have a great relationship with all of my family. And I know that not everybody does.
Yeah.
You know, it's when you see situations where it's not that, you know, it boils my blood.
Do you see that a lot in your business? Or just
sort of situational, right? Mm-hmm. Like I have a friend and I have like somebody at our shop, and you know, those are two situations that, you know, I hold very dear to my heart because
they're so close.
You want better for them.
Yeah.
So helping where I can and when I can, even being involved with Shifra Homes here in Burlington, met Nancy through the chamber. She won an award for her work at Shifra Homes, and Shifra Homes is a place for homeless pregnant mothers.
Local?
In Burlington.
Wow, I didn't know.
Yeah, and we hadn't either, and she won this award, and I went up to her and I said, hey, like, we'd love to bring you over some leggings and some hoodies for these mamas.
That's great.
Right? And so we went over to the house, and she had just purchased a second house, so it's a home in a neighborhood. She was telling me the story about one of the mamas there was living in the woods. She was 7 months pregnant, living in the woods.
In our community?
In our community. And so she came in. Schiffer's I think it is the last place for pregnant women to go in Ontario. She's self-funded. Last year she opened her third home.
Wow.
They're all within walking distance of each other. They have, you know, medical therapy. And she has programs that help these women.
Goosebumps.
I know. It is like,
what? I didn't even know.
It's such a beautiful program. Wow. And then we were working with 100 Women Who Care, and we nominated Shifra Homes to be, and they got the donations from that 100 Women Who Care night. And so it's just, there's so much great community building. And like, these are women with
I didn't even know.
Human trafficked women.
Man,
like,
why are these talked about more?
Yeah, right. It's such an incredible program, and you're giving voices to these women who have definitely not been able to find their voice, and setting them off in a different trajectory for life.
And knowing that there's someone there like you and her and this organization and all of this that they can rely on, or they can talk to, or just have a home from, right? I don't think people know about this. I think people should know more about this. I think we should talk more about that stuff, because we don't know enough. Like, I don't know enough about that stuff. You hear, Halton Women's Place or Shelter for Women, that sort of stuff, but you don't hear about all those other types of organizations that are.
And I will say, being a part of the 100 Women Who Care, so I'm part of the 100 Women Who Care Burlington chapter, because she's got legs in Burlington. And, I look at it as a community building kind of thing. Yeah. And it's so there's different chapters in all different cities. You go 4 times a year, you donate $100. But because there's over 100 women, you are making a $10,000 plus impact.
I was part of it in Oakville.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
I haven't been to an event yet.
It's such a great way to make such a large impact for these organizations. And there's so many smaller organizations that need support and assistance, or even just more people knowing about them.
I didn't know about that.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
It's like a great...
I know I heard one time that the number of homeless people like in Oakville or in Halton was over like 700 people. I was like, what? 700 families? Like, how do we not know about this? How do we not have people out there trying to help these people? Like, how do we... Like, I know there are, but why do we just not know about this? Like, what else can we do, right?
Yeah.
Sad, right?
And it's talking about it, right? It's all the goodness that happens between networking groups and the social commitments that people make.
That's why it's important to join these organizations or these networking groups or these, 100 Women Who Care.
Yeah, and you meet the loveliest people.
Yeah,
you meet.
Well, now I'm excited for the next event because I haven't been. I haven't been to one. I joined, I think, right after their last meeting or right before the last meeting, and I had an event and I couldn't go, so I did give my donation. But I think the other one's coming up pretty soon. So
we just had ours on Wednesday night, and that was the night of that big incident on the Skyway Bridge with the truck, and so everything was shut down.
Oh, the fire!
Everything was shut down.
The fire?
Yeah, the fire. So everybody was. Like, nobody could get to the meeting. So some of us could. So we're sitting there, and then the chair came in and she's like, okay, like, we don't have enough people here. But some of the organizations were there. So we got like a personal one-on-one with some of these other organizations, which was cool. I'd love to know more
about them.
Yeah.
It's that stuff really, I really love that kind of stuff because you don't hear enough about it. You only hear about the bigger organizations or the
ones in the schools. Like, you hear a lot about in the schools when your kids are in school, right? So it's finding the activities going on in the community. And there's so much. And those are the authentic voices of those people.
Yeah.
Right? Being out there helping others. And
so good. Good for you.
That's a good.
You say authentic voice. Help you speak up, negotiate, assert yourself in different environments. I don't know, for me, it's a hard one.
It is. And I think it's very situational.
I think because I've just kind of come back to myself, come back to business in the sense that I'm out and about and doing things in the community or getting to know new people again. So I've always asserted myself with myself. I was like, I talk to myself all day long, but, being out there and speaking to people, and I think with the more people I speak to, the more I realize I may have to offer, right? And in a way that I want to do it. So I think coming back to that and being who I am in that sense of, let's go to this network event and learn something new, or talk about this, or talk about what I do or how I do it and the different things. I've slowly learning to come back to that.
I think too, it's those situations, right? Where you're kind of like not... So in negotiation could be many different things, right? Like, negotiation with a spouse is much different than negotiation about a job.
Yes.
But again, you're still using a voice inside of you and trying to...
Then I used a very authentic voice on Friday night with my real estate counterpart. I just... just come to a point where it's like, okay, this is it. This is enough. This is how it's going to go. I can only talk about the value in a property so much. And, the realtor says to me, oh, I see your point. I see your point. And I'm like, then why are we here? Like, you need to then translate that to your client. I said I would have no problems talking to your client and telling them the value I see in the home or how I came up with the pricing. So for me, that comes from knowledge, it comes from experience, and it comes from that combination of knowing something that I can be authentic and assert myself.
And knowing your value.
Yeah.
Right? Hey, I only have so much time.
Yeah.
Time is my bank.
It is. And this week I had so much time. It was so nice, actually. I know we didn't get together a lot and do this, but I was like, I had a lot of free days last week. So I was able to be in the studio creating. Friday, Paul and I went to our accountant, and then I went up with a friend. We watched his daughter play. And then in the middle of it, you get this offer and you're like, oh my God, really? You're wasting my time. But anyway, you do your job and you go ahead and you work for the best interest of your client. But at the end of the day, I still have to work for that client and explain to these people, this is the value I came up with. And I'm like, do I have to be that authentic?
I have a funny story. We went to this, it was I can't remember the name of the company. They were based out of Texas. They were up here doing, kind of like seminars on selling your business. Right. Oh. And so I know nothing about selling a business, not in the market for it, but it's like, okay, if somebody had approached me, Smart. I know nothing about it. Smart. So let me go learn. So we booked the afternoon with this company, both Sean and I, because also buying a business, right? And so they talked a lot about the baby boomers, how so many of them are retiring. And, so if you're looking to buy a business, like you have so much knowledge that can be transferred to you buying these businesses that they're retiring from. Mm-hmm. So he said, like if you want to start something, now is the time to start something because you have unimagined knowledge available to you, which is great, right? And so chatting with them, and then he's like, okay, let's book an appointment. So he comes to the shop and we're talking about different things, and never have I felt so I don't even know the right word, like total friction.
Really?
From this guy that came, and with his big Boston accent and the comment that got me the most. And so I reminded him that we are a women-run organization. Oh. And
wrong place to get that from.
Right? And so his whole tone was very misogynistic. And I'm like, again, we're a women-run organization here. And so
Did he not clue in?
No. And so I had said something about my father, and he goes, because my dad had lent me money for some stuff. And he goes, oh, daddies never expect their daughters to pay them back.
What?
And I'm like, as soon as he said that, I was like, never will I ever fucking do business with you, buddy. Oh, never, ever, ever. I could not wait for him to get out of there so fast.
Some people don't realize what they're saying.
I know. And like
read the room.
Hold on a second. Sean's sitting in there, and he's sitting like, back, and he's like, "Oh my God, is she gonna blow? Is she gonna blow?" Like twice, I said to him, "Yeah, we're a women-run organization here."
What's wrong with people?
And I'm like, "Hello, what the hell?"
But I don't want to say what I'm going to say.
I'm
not going to say it. I keep my mouth shut. I need to keep my mouth shut because I can say something that's not very, very nice right now. But look where it comes from.
Now, I will say he wanted to buy something for his wife, and I'm going to tell you, oh, yeah, I took his money. I sent him home with a $300 order. It's like, yeah. People? Like, get out of here.
What is wrong with people?
I don't
think I've encountered that in business. Maybe I have when I was younger. Like, honestly, like being a young realtor. It was
so condescending. Yeah. Like, it still makes, no.
Well, I'm lying to you. I'm actually lying to you when I say that. Because I have experienced that. Owning the hockey team. Mm-hmm. Owning the hockey team.
Non-typical female environment.
So my husband and I own the team, co-owners. And when we started the team, it was kind of us and a GM. And then unfortunate situations changed, and it was just Paul and I. And I remember saying, what are we going to do now? How are we going to get players? I don't watch players. I only watch my kid. Paul's like, I've never watched a player. I just watched the game. And I'm like, Paul's not on social media. I always tell him, Paul, you got to post your photos of your business. He's like, wah, 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 wah. And I'm like, you need to know you're working. And then
And you do so good at social media.
Thank you. I took over social media and I'm posting, and, there's players liking the page and people following the page and all this. And I said, you know what? Maybe I'll just go through social media and message potential players, right? And I remember sending the message. And it's hard for me to understand this because I think I've done a good job with my children in telling them they need to respect people of all genders and sexes, and you need to answer them equally. It's not like one over the other or one knows more than the other. So and be like, I don't even know what the thing was. Thank you so much. This is the owner of the Toronto Flyers, Melissa Hull. Just wondering if you're skating for another team this year or whatever it was. We'd like for you to come out for a skate. And it was like crickets, like nothing. And I said, one person would message back and forth. And I was like, okay, this is weird. So I left it for a few weeks. I'm like, you know what? I'm getting a message from Paul. Literally the same person. The same message from Paul. And it's like, oh, Mr. Dericio, thank you very much. Blah, 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 blah. I'd like to come out. And I was like, are you kidding me? Like, are you kidding me? Like, do you understand? Like, we are the same people. We're equal in this partnership. We're equal owners in this team.
It's funny how that is, hey?
And I don't know if it's just the sport. I don't know if it's it's a very, not anymore, I'd say male dominant sport, but there's not anymore. There's a lot of females that play and professionals that play. And we have had, interesting enough, Lucas, goalie coach from the time he was 7 years old till he was 17, was a female. She was the starting goaltender for the Toronto Furies. Went to Harvard. We even went down to Boston. We went to Harvard. All of her awards are there. Like, it's everywhere. So he's always had a female in his hockey life. So maybe it's not weird for my kid. I don't know, but I just can't believe the reception coming back. Mm-hmm. And there's even I don't do any of the owners meeting stuff like that. Like, I don't step into that role. I've let Paul do that. Maybe that's wrong, but I trust him because I would probably not be as nice as Paul in situations. But we have one female owner that goes to everything. And I give that woman so much credit for standing there amongst all those men and owning a team and doing the job she does, because man, oh man, it would be so hard. I would be biting my tongue. I don't understand. And it's such to see it from the younger generation. And then I'm like, really? Like, you at that age already have that train of thought. Like, I'm not going to answer this person because it's a female, maybe? Like, what? Why wouldn't you answer me if I was the owner of a team?
And I think we just need to keep speaking up.
Yeah.
Right? We need to keep, like, I remember Dana Kirkpatrick, right?
Yeah.
Like, how cool was that? That there was a woman race car driver.
So amazing.
Even watching football now, there's so many more women that are involved. Not just like in a cheerleader role. No. Right? Like, these sportscasters that know their stuff. Like, they are diehard. They've, sat watching football their whole life. Right? Like, and representing, because, and I own a mare. Like, watching the Canadian women's rugby this weekend. Would I ever have known this a year ago? No. She has single-handedly done more for not only women's rugby, but body positivity and amazing. Being a female athlete than I think. And why? Like, if you follow her, on social media, talk about authenticity. Yes. Right? I started following her when she was the Olympian in the Olympic Village, treating it like Love Island. Yeah. It was so freaking hilarious. Like, she has such a great sense of humor about her. She's so awesome. And I think that's the win, right? Like, you were just out there. You gotta have fun in life. You cannot take it too seriously because there are dickheads everywhere. There's like, so people don't be a dickhead, but it's so hard though. And you gotta be able to use your voice and get through it. And be true to you.
Yeah. I know. I agree with you 100% on that. Oh,
you know, if it's a boss at work, you know, I mean, you know,
in some capacity.
Yes. You know, sexual stuff should always, you know, you never ever put up with that stuff.
No.
Never ever. I've never had that at any
either
work.
Have I, but there's still there's that generation that's still around that still wants to talk to women a certain way or be like, hey girl, or hey baby, or like the comments and the, you know, the crassness that comes with it sometimes. And some, like, I hear it and I just like shake my head. I'm like, really? Do you not know where we are? And I'm probably equally as bad in some respect for certain things, but I'm just like, do you not hear what you're saying?
Well, my father has always been a kisser, like always. So whenever he meets anybody, not men, but women, right? And like for decades, it's like, Dad, no, just kiss them on the cheek. Just like no kisses, like no. And, you know, he's 87. Am I going to be, you know, I keep trying to get there, but
it's hard. It's hard to tell them because that's like how they grew up. I had this conversation with my parents, I think on Friday, and I was talking. They're asking about the podcast. They're like, "How's it going?" and this and that. And I said, "Good." And I said, "Well, you know, I'm sure you're not going to want to hear this, but I did talk about some stuff, right, with us and the family." And my mom was like, "What did you talk about?" And I said, "Well, like we talked about generations." And I said, we talked about like weight and like that sort of stuff and, you know, where it may come from. And, you know, I said, just think of when you grew up, like the images you had of women, makeup done, dresses on, in their high heels, apron, cooking dinner, taking care of the kids. Like now, my hair's like this, no makeup. I'm in my pajamas. Yeah, it breathes.
Let me get dinner.
Yeah.
I'll make dinner tonight.
Delivered to the right house, Donna.
Yes.
But like, so those are the things, right? Like I said, it is situational and it's for your time. So it's not anything wrong with it. My dad's like, we just didn't know better.
Exactly. Right.
So I hope
and the
we
more
can
we
do
use
better.
our authentic voices and say, hey, like the whole Me Too movement.
Yeah.
Like, that's a big authentic voice. Like, okay, it's not okay to do this.
Not at all. And so many people
and it changes. Forward. Like, eventually things change. Things have changed so much in the last 20 years than they did the 20 years before. So
even going to high school. I went to Catholic school. Wore a kilt. They don't wear kilts anymore. No kilts in high schools. It's like not even mandatory. I don't think they even sell them anymore, which is crazy to me. But whatever. It's how it's changed. But it's awesome. Most embarrassing moment at work, and how did you overcome it? Oh man, you go first, because
by far this will always be my most embarrassing. Well, I hope by far this is always my most embarrassing moment. And I was standing there. I was in my 20s.
Oh, you were young.
In my 20s.
Oh, I thought it was recent. That's even better.
Standing there in the hallway with two of my male bosses, having a conversation about some paperwork that was due. And my one boss, so I had one boss, he was very quiet. Like, if you got 10 words out of him in a week, it was a lot. And the other one was opposite. He was like,
talk.
Bouncy and all that. And he could be very anal and condescending and whatever. And so you had to sort of learn to keep a tough skin with him. And so we're standing there and he keeps looking at my breast area and he goes, and I look down and my underwire is sticking out through my blouse. Half of my underwire is like there.
You like it?
And I look down and I'm like, I pull it out, I stick it in my papers, and I keep going. I said, well, I guess I don't need that. And I just shoved it in my papers and I kept talking like nothing ever happened. And I went back to my desk and I was like freaking mortified. And that was the last day I ever wore an underwire bra.
Oh, they're the worst, man. Sorry, they're the worst. I think I have a wire and now I'm worried.
Never, ever.
Like, you feel it and it's like it's moving. It's like more to one side and then you're like
I will
adjusting.
Duct tape my boobs before I wear an underwire bra again.
That's crazy. Oh my gosh. That's so funny. For me, I think it was recently. Actually, really recently. I probably had a few of them, to be honest with you, in real estate. But the one that I remember the most is I used to tell this story about an agent, and she She said she came in one morning. I was a receptionist. So I was young. So like 97, 98, 99 before I was licensed. And she's like, oh my God, I had the most embarrassing thing happen to me at work this weekend. And she goes, I went out to dinner last night, went to the movies, got home really late, and I was showing early in the morning. And I said, oh yeah, what happened? She's like, I got up, threw my pants on, went to this house, and I'm showing this house. She goes, it's vacant house. I go, like, my clients go upstairs. Then my clients come downstairs and we hit the staircase and there's a pair of underwear on the staircase. And I was like, yeah. And she's like, my client says, oh, how did those get there? And she says, I reached down and grabbed them. She goes, they were my underwear I left in my pants. Like I threw, like in the morning, they were stuck in her leg. And I can remember this story. I remember the agent's name. I won't have to say her name, but I was like, oh my God, how embarrassing is that? Right. So I was out showing recently to a client. Friends of mine, thank God they were friends of mine, and I was not in a rush. I was probably just there, and I'm at the house, and I'm like, what's this in my pants? And I went like this in front of them, and I pulled my underwear out of my pants. I was like, oh my God.
And it happens
like,
right when they're in the laundry and it gets stuck to it.
What the heck? And I was like, I've told that story a million times. I'm like, Karma is such a bee. I said, what the heck? And I was like, oh my God. And I looked at my clients and I'm like, good thing we're like family, okay? And I just put it in my pocket. But I think that would probably be the most embarrassing thing at work. But I'm sure I've done a million.
Yeah. I'm sure. I mean, especially period stories,
oh
like,
my gosh,
right, like that haunt you until you don't have them anymore. No. I tell you, the other day I was thinking, I am so freaking glad I am done those.
Oh wow!
But because you spend your whole life with those embarrassing stories.
I think the youngest, I remember when I got my period, I was so young. I think that was probably the most embarrassing.
And we've just lost all the male audience listeners because we started talking about
periods. That's right. But I remember being like very young and going to Leon's with my parents, and I remember just not feeling good. And I remember going to the bathroom, and I was like, "What the hell?" I'm like, oh my God, really? My mom's like, it's okay. But yeah, no. I remember the first time I got my period. I remember that feeling embarrassing at that moment. But I was also really young, right? I felt young at that time. I don't even know what young is. What's young? I don't know. Everybody goes through it differently, right? So no. I am sure I've had quite a few, like falling down the stairs at work or the slippery.
We were at a concert in Sarnia, and it was called Bayfest, and it was the best weekend of music that there was because Centennial Park had like a berm, a horseshoe-shaped berm, and the stage was kind of at the front, and so no matter where you sat, you had a great view of the stage. And it's summer, and you're just sitting out on the hill listening to it. Well, I had Bailey with me; she was young, so it was Bailey and my girlfriend and I. I want to say it was a country-ish one because we had pink country or pink cowboy hats, like straw cowboy hats, but it was raining, so we were in stuff, and I'm in white pants, and I get up to go get something, and I slide down the hill. My ass is so caked in mud in these white pants.
What do? You
right?
just
and
rock
I'm like,
it.
well, it is what it is. Now I have straight pants. Yeah.
And I think that, like, now in life when things happen, that was where I'm kind of like, yes, I get embarrassed in the moment, but I'm just like, you know what, is what it is. When I was younger, it was always like
mortifying.
Yeah.
And I think you get better at just laughing at yourself.
Yeah. I think you can laugh more about yourself when you're younger now. I was at a party at a friend's house, and he had like rented like this big sumo inflatable thing, and people were like fighting and stuff like that. And
how fun would
it was cool. He rented, it was inflatable. I sold the guy's house. Anyway, it's the guy who I went to visit on Friday. Actually, his daughters are playing hockey. His now daughters are 15. And I was like, when did your daughters become 15 and 14? Because last time I saw them, they were like 7 and 8. So I remember the plastic chairs. I'm sitting in the plastic chair, and there's people around. And I remember talking to them, and I can remember, I still remember the feeling, looking at the person and then doing this. And the whole leg fell, and the whole chair went. And Paul always says, he goes, Melissa, you remember that time? I go, yes. At John's house, when I fell over like this, and the whole chair went down. So every time I sit in one of those silly plastic chairs, I'm like, make sure the legs are straight. Mm-hmm. There's certain things I do remember, but no, I think in real estate, probably I've fallen quite a bit. down the stairs or tripped, like you're like,
well, it's a new
that.
place.
Yeah.
Right here.
Or you're wearing like slippery socks and the stairs are carpeted and you're like, oh, don't go down those stairs too fast or whatever. But no, for me, it was that underwear took the cake for me because I talked about it all the time. And then I was like, look at this. Karma's coming right back around because I told that story a million times. Like, get Melissa. I was like, son of a gun.
I had another one where we were doing a launch. And so our launches are live.
Yep.
And it was our last launch of the year. And we were into the, Christmas in July or our Christmas giveaway, 12 days of Christmas giveaways. We were kicking that off. So it was an important one. So we're running around, getting everything ready, and we go live. And I'm like introducing our last leggings launch. And I look down and I am not in the right pair of leggings. I'm in the wrong pair. And I'm like, ta-da! Well, this is what keeps it real, right?
What would you tell your younger self about things like that? Like embarrassing moments. Like if you could go back and what would you tell yourself? It's just in the moment. It is what it is. Like
I think you learn to laugh it off.
You have to, man. You have to laugh it off.
You can't be
in your head about it.
Yes.
Because if you're head about it, you're like, oh, it would just fester.
Because it shows others that you're adaptable. Like that bra thing. Like I was mortified.
That's good.
Right? And you just
take that with
keep
me.
Going. Just keep going. Like just pretend like that never
and
happened.
There's going to be lots of things that happen that you
is.
feel embarrassed about. Yes. Like I think
like
you want to lose the audience now. Talk about having kids. That takes away every You're like this over here, do this, do that. I remember when I had Nathan, I had emergency C-section, and the nurse I went to high school with. And I was like, her name was Shauna. And the doctor's like, okay, Shauna, you can prep Melissa. And I was like, prep me? And she's like, yep, we're going to shave it up. And I'm like, oh my God. Like, really? Here I am, a girl from high school. My legs are open. She's shaving my chotch. I'm like, what the heck? I'm like, Shauna, good thing you and I were friends. Like, we weren't like enemies or anything like that. But that you just, I think, like that, you're like, oh. Fuck, man.
Yeah,
like,
that is nice not growing up here. Although I did have that kind of happen. I had breast tissue stuff going on. And so I had to go to this doctor and I get there and it's the coach.
Oh my God.
Not the coach, the parent of one of the kids on my daughter's soccer team.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like I have to look. So yeah, right. Like, so I came home and I said to Sean, so-and-so on Bailey's soccer team. He goes, yeah. Her dad felt me up today.
What do you do, man? Like, what do you do in those situations? Right, you just got to run with it, right? You're like, okay, this is what it is. I think that though, those situations help, right?
Yeah. Finding your humor.
You have to, man. I was just like, really? My legs were like, I'm like,
because it's everybody. It's not just you.
No.
And I think in the moment you feel like you're the only one, like you're an idiot or whatever it is, right? And it's like, hey, keep it real.
I know.
Keep it real.
And that too, like going back to your authentic voice, you're like, this is just who I am. This is just what happened. This is how it goes.
How
this
do you
is
like
the
me
realness.
now?
Ass on the floor, boob hanging out, whatever it is, it just is what it is. But yeah, I think we go through a lot of embarrassing moments. But keeping it real, like you said, and being authentic to who you are, all comes back together, right? It just
and being okay with,
is what it is.
With being you.
Yeah.
And if you don't like the you that you are, then change.
Yeah. Yes.
Because you're the one that can do that, right? Find that authentic voice that brings you happiness and brings you that bit of confidence to get you there.
Got to do that. It's important. So important, Miss Donna. Don't waste your time in comparison mode.
Let's talk about comparison mode and authentic voice. Because I think, too, because of social media. Interesting. If we were younger with social media, because we did not have social media.
Nope.
How would that have influenced our authentic voice? Or do you think it does influence?
I think it does. I think for me, social media has given me a little bit more strength in my voice. I wish I had that when I was younger, in the sense that we have more representation today of myself and my body type. It's nice to see other people that look like you and know that we are all people and we all exist in different body types. When we were younger, I don't think we saw much of that. So I think social media then would have helped me see more of myself. We talked about weight, and we talked about feeling the first time you kind of felt weight. And for me, it was that ski story, weighing myself to get my skis. And I was, talking about it the other day with my sister-in-law. And I said, I remember being like grade 5 or 6 and like standing on the scale and being like 92 or 95 or 97 pounds, something in the 90s. And all my girlfriends were like 50 pounds. And like, I felt like I was the only one, but it was just like I was 20 kids in one school. But, if there was more of that, or I would have seen more, like, I've been this height since grade 6. Like, I've been 5'9" since grade 6. I was a model. Like, I modeled when I was in grade 6 because I was this tall. I was center in basketball because I was this tall. Like, I played on the volleyball team because I was this tall. Like, I was in a bigger body. But I felt like I was the only one at that time, mm-hmm. right? So, would social media have helped? Yes. But I honestly don't like the advancement that we know everything, or we feel we know everything in social media. Like, I think there's so much out there that is seen that we don't need to see on social media. I wish it was just more positive. Maybe I wish it was I was more represented when I was younger. So,
which our sources of information would have been magazines.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it was all...
Are you crazy? There was nothing in a magazine that looked like me.
Nothing.
Not
in the Sears catalog that came.
No, and it's like you're in grade 7 or 8 and you're looking at buying women's clothes when your friends are all buying, mm-hmm. kids' clothes, and you're like, what the heck? And mine was because my legs were longer. My feet were like, I was just like size 9 at that age. Like, that's huge feet for when you're little. Now my feet are like 11 and they're still big, but I'm like, there's other people. Like, now when I look on social media, there are other people that have like a size 12 foot or an 11 foot. And so that stuff, I think it would have helped me. But I like that it kept my innocence. Like, it allowed me to have more of a childhood.
Mm-hmm. Kids today,
right? Like,
there's so much available.
Like, could you imagine? Could you imagine all the stuff our parents would know? Like, no, I'm glad my parents don't know the stuff that I did. Not that I did a lot of bad stuff, but there's a lot of stuff I've kept private from like my teenage years. And I feel good about that because it was my decision. But now it's like, they can't do anything.
Yeah.
And half of them don't want to do anything. Half of them are all on there showing everything anyway. But, so yeah, I think that maybe social media would have helped in some respect, or like, even if it wasn't social media, like I said, more representation of myself in the media when I was younger. Because even going back, it's crazy. Even going back, I watched King of Queens. I don't watch that show anymore. I'll tell you why. Because Paul and I, we like go back and watch episodes, right? And so I said, let's start it from the beginning. And like the first 2 episodes talked about her being fat. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? I'm like, what? I watched this show? And I'm like, oh yeah, like Kevin James, I know it was the show, but they were talking about, I think, was her name Leah Remini? Mm-hmm. It was talking about her being like fat in it, and I was like, what? Like, it just like blew my mind. I'm like, what the heck? Like, the amount of stuff we watched when we were younger, and that representation when we were younger was always about certain like body types, or looking a certain way, or being like dressing a certain way, or being more feminine, whatever feminine is. I don't even know. Like, I look back now and I'm like, I can't believe I watched that stuff. And I think that over time it's changed my perception. Like, social media and the media's like changed what my view of that stuff is, right? Like I said, I see more representation of myself out there, and it makes me happy because you know what? We're not all the same. And when we were younger, I felt like we all had to be the same. We all had to be this size, or we had to look like this. We all had to dress the same. Like, it was not much out there. But now it's like, nah, this is who we are. This is who I am. This is what I do. This is how I talk. This is like, that's why there's millions and millions of people in this world, because we're not all for somebody, right? Like, you may not like me, that's fine, but you don't need to like me. Yeah, I like me, and I like who I am, and if you want to be my friend, that's good. If you don't want to be my friend, well, go talk to somebody else, right? So, yeah, I think for me, it would have been it's a teeter. Like it.
Yeah, there's the good and the bad with it.
And I think there's so much like craziness with it now that it's crossed the line. Like it takes away all of that innocence. Like how young do people or do children look at social media now? Like really, truly, honestly.
Oh yeah. Like young.
Like I opened my Instagram the other day and it now says there's controls for teens. Like now? I think my son got a phone when he was 13 and my son's 20 today. 7 years ago, he was on like Instagram. Like, really? Like now you're installing these like parameters and these controls for teens. Like,
and you think of the mistakes you make as teenagers, right? Like in that
you're
learning
supposed
phase,
to make them.
You are, right? Yeah. Like you are learning all the things either you really want to do or you really don't ever want to do again.
You're learning
right?
who you are. You're learning to find your authentic voice. You're learning what you like, what you don't like. You're learning the type of people you want to be, like hang out with the person you want to be. It's so much. But when it's all there, it just like...
It never goes away, right? Yeah. Like any of those mistakes you make.
I wouldn't want to be a teenager today. I'm being honest with you. I don't think I'd want to be a teenager again. I'd want to go back to when I was a teenager and maybe redo some things, but
then would you be who you are?
No, of course I wouldn't. And I don't know if I'd really want to redo them. Maybe I'd want to react to those situations how I would react today back then, more than change anything. Maybe it's like I could have done it differently in terms of how I looked at the situation. You know, reflecting back to younger self and being like, oh yeah, I would have told my younger self that. I wish I could go back and tell my younger self, like, it's okay. There are people in this world that look like you. Just keep being you and don't worry about the noise, right? So maybe that's what it is.
What would you do different? What would be that thing? Mine is a resounding. I would use the word no. Like, no, this is not happening.
What would I do? It's a hard one for me. I don't know what I would do differently. I think that I did a lot of things. I don't know what I would do differently. Because I really don't look back at my life and want to change anything, because it's made me who I am today, right?
Very much.
There's, like I said, maybe would be reacting to the situation differently as opposed to doing something differently. Maybe saying no like you. I think I'm a yes person. I say yes to a lot of friendships that maybe weren't serving at that time.
But I think in those years, like
it's hard,
that is the goal, right? Is just to have friends. Like when you're a teenager, like like that is
like I'm thinking now.
Life is friends.
One of the biggest things I always say, maybe I should have gone into marketing, but then I'm like, yeah, but then if I went into marketing, then I'd be in a marketing career, right? Then I wouldn't have said no to human resources and got my real estate license. And then I wouldn't have met you or the people in my life. I wouldn't have started life when I did. I wouldn't like.
It's the Wonderful Life movie that we watch every year with Sean. That's his Christmas one, right? And it's that message, right? Yeah. Like you go through all these things so you can find you.
Yeah. So it's hard. Like, yeah, there's so many things I think I'd want to change, but then I'm like, but what if I change them? What would be different? What would be different today? My life would be totally different, right? I always said I wanted an apartment when I was younger, and I wanted to, not have kids young, and I like all these things. But then I'm like, I wouldn't be 46 today with a 20-year-old and a 22-year-old, and I wouldn't feel like I have this second wind in life where I can do some things and like. It's hard. Like I look at my brother and my sister-in-law, and they're a little bit younger than me, 42 and 43 or whatever they are, and they have a 3-year-old, and I'm like, sorry. I'm like, nah, I want to sleep at night. Like I remember being 21 or 22 and thinking, wow, it's so hard. Like you got to be up at night. And I lost it. Like, not that we lost a lot of friends, but we were the first people to own a house, and we had all these parties and people always hanging out at our house. And then when we had Nathan, it was like we had SARS, even though SARS was really around, but it was like, oh my God, you have a kid. We can't come over. We can't see you. We can't be friends with, like, not that we can't be friends, but like that shifted. So I didn't lose a lot of friends, but it was just like a different shift. But now I'm like, no, you have babies or you have little ones. So I don't think I would change anything. Like, I'm very honest even with the kids about that, saying that I didn't want kids till I was older, but maybe I shouldn't have been partying when I was 22 years old and get pregnant, right? Like, I don't know. Like, I don't regret anything I've done in life. I don't think I'd really want to change anything, because then I wouldn't be exactly where I am today. I think it all the time. I do think it. I'm like, what if I did this, or what if I did more? And I'm like, but then I wouldn't have made these choices. I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing.
And I think to my younger self, it's kind of like, hey, it may suck right now, but it's going to get better.
Yep.
And this will help you get there.
Yeah. Just, it's a, like you say, chapter. It's one little chapter. It may be hard for the next.
I heard someone say that recently. I think it was on the news. I was like, oh yeah, right? Like, it's so very true. Yeah.
One little chapter of your life. And you know what? It's going to be hard for the next 6 months or the next year. You're going to want to hate everything. You're going to, like, it's going to be hard, but just think on the other side. Yeah. If you didn't go through that then you wouldn't be the person today, right? If we didn't feel the way we felt about our bodies or our relationships or our friends or the things we were doing, then we wouldn't be here talking about it today, right? Like, what would we be talking about? Oh, life is so good. We're this, blah, 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 blah. Like, I don't know. For me, I don't ever really regret anything. I would just like to maybe change how I handle the situation, but then it wouldn't have made me want to change how I handle that situation and be a different person. So it's hard. Yes, I would tell my younger self that it's going to get better, that things will change, that you will see more of you in the future, that this is just one moment in time. It's okay. Like,
keep going, girl.
Keep going.
Keep going.
Do the things you love. Like you say, it's okay to say no.
And enjoy, right? Like, how many of our stories are around laughter? Yeah. And the good moments.
I think those outweigh the crap moments by far, right? So many good moments in life. I was watching my wedding video. My mom was watching my wedding video, and I hate saying it. I feel like it's the video of death, right? Like we got married young, right? And we've lost so many people, even friends in that video. And I'm just like, I think I would tell my younger self that you have so much time in life. There's so much time, more time than you think. Like, when you're going through that, like, so young, like getting married and doing that, you're like, oh, I know it was our generation, but it's now. We got to get married, got to have a house, got to do all that stuff. And then I look at my son Nathan and Lucas, and they're 20 and 22. Like, I was engaged at 19. I was married, mortgaged, and pregnant at 22. And I'm like, wow. And then I look at them and I'm like, yeah, do the things you love to do. Enjoy the minute, like, enjoy the time, enjoy the moments. Like Nathan said, can I go to Montreal? Go to Montreal. Like, do more of that kind of stuff. So, it's nice to see that. And that's what I hope to. Like,
but don't be living on your mama's couch for too long.
No, I know. But they will be forever. So I get it. I get that. But it's true. Like, I think I would tell myself that one thing I would really tell myself is that there's so much time. Like, I joke with the boys and I'm like, I could still have a baby. And they're like, what? That's so gross. And I'm like, yeah, but I could. Like, I really could have a baby. Like, your dad and I could have had a baby in the last one.
Imagine?
No, imagine nothing. I don't imagine that. I don't want that. And then I think, yeah, I wanted kids when I was older, like 35, but then I'm like, I'd have had a 10-year-old now. I'm like, whoa, that's hard.
I couldn't imagine going through parenthood at my age. Like, I'm exhausted as it is, let alone with kids. Like, I'm glad I did it when I did it. That was my time.
And that's right. It's your time. And that's the thing. Like, my time was when it happened. It just is what it is. And everyone goes through it at a different time if they're going through it or if they don't want to go through it. And if you don't go through, hey, man, all the power to you too. Like, I don't care. Kids, no kids. I think everyone has a different view on that. I think sometimes those views change too. Like, when you're in the midst of it and you're like in a relationship, like, I know someone very, very close to me that got married and then they were 1 year in and they got divorced because they were like, she's like, I don't want kids. Yeah. And he was like, I want kids. And she was like, I don't want kids. And I give them a lot of credit for taking that. As hard as that separation step is, they were like, this is not what I want. And good for them for doing that. Yes. Because that's
when you
like,
can't really reconcile.
No. And For me, I would just be like, realize how much time you really do have in life. Because I feel like we talked about chaos last week or the week before, but that's the chaos. Like you're just going and going and going and going, and everything's building up, and then you're like, I feel like I didn't live in the moment when it was going on. Like maybe I lived in the moment, maybe I didn't realize what was going on, but I didn't really fully enjoy each moment. Like it was just so busy. Like take a minute.
I kind of feel like the chaos is the energy.
Yeah.
Right? The energy that you just go. And then, sometimes you just run out of energy.
You lie on the couch and you have ice cream.
Yeah. But
no, I think with that, like for me, I don't feel like I lived in every moment. I think I just was like, that was the day. Mm-hmm. Like, this is the process. You do this, you do that, and you go on with it. It's hard. It was hard. It wasn't easy. That's for sure.
And it never is, right? Like everybody has a different story. Everybody has a different journey. Everybody has the ups and the downs in a different moment. And, as much as everybody's story is a different story, you're never really alone.
You're not alone. And that is another thing, I guess. We talk about it, comes to me, but that's one thing I would tell my younger self, is that you're not the only person who's going through it or has gone through it. There's other people that you can talk to. And I think that, going back to social media, is where you look at it and go, shit, that's where I wish I had it. I wish I saw another mother that was not wanting to be a mother that day, or that was having trouble with their kid going poo, or whatever it is. Like those things, I wish I saw more of that, because you can read that in a book, but unless you're seeing it like human to human, you don't realize, like anyone can tell a story, right? But when you see it, you physically see someone going through it, you're like,
you make a connection.
You're like, that's it. So that's where I wish I had social media as a mom more than anything. Find your community, right? Mm-hmm. It's a hard place to be in. Motherhood's great. Also sucks. Sorry, that's the truth. For me, it's hard. I found it hard. And I don't realize that till now. I didn't realize that till now, how hard it was. Because I felt like out of all my friends, I was the only one having a kid. Mm. I was the only one. All my friends were like getting jobs, going to university, blah, 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 blah. Me, having kids.
I think I was later. I was on the later spectrum, where my friends were having kids earlier. So I was a little bit behind, which was good for me.
Were you really behind? No.
Probably right on I couldn't have had... I didn't want to have children, so
I know
the fact that I did was good. No regrets.
Not at all. Not at all. Like being with the boys yesterday, when my dad's birthday was yesterday, so we had a brunch with Lucas and my dad, and my nephew was there, Nathan was there, my mother-in-law was there. Even my sister-in-law's parents were there. They're here from Colombia. They leave next week, and we were all there, and it was so nice to be there with the boy, like my boys, and just like laugh like adults, and like have a good time. And this joke, my mom made soup on the weekend, and every time someone would come in, she'd ask them for soup, and I'm like, Mom, it's 10:30 in the morning. Who's gonna eat your fucking soup at 10:30 in the morning? Stop asking it. And my brother would look over me, he goes, did you want soup? And I'm like, no. Did you want soup? And then Lucas came in, and I said, Lucas, when you come in, I go, ask Grandma if she has soup, right? So it was like 11, like quarter to 11. Lucas walked in, Grandma, do you have any soup? And she's like, shut up. And I was like, so it's nice to be able to like joke around with them and have that kind of fun time with them. So I enjoy those moments. Now I enjoy it a lot more. When you're younger, or when you're going through the midst of whatever age they are, it's like every age feels hard. Like my sister-in-law right now, my nephew's going to preschool, like a French preschool. And she's like, oh, it's so hard some days. Like he doesn't go to school, he cries. And then my brother's like, I remember the stuff you're going through, Melissa. He goes, small kids, small problems. And I'm like, yeah, but it's just at that age, I was too, like, yeah. You don't know until you go through it. And even my friend on Friday, I remember we had a little bit of distance between us at one point. And it was because we couldn't afford to go to his wedding. Like his wedding was a travel wedding. And he was like, oh, he got upset about it. And he said to us the other day, he goes, Melissa, I'll never forget you saying to me, like, you don't understand what we're going through. He goes, and I never did until now. He's like, you just don't understand it. And I said, you know what? Like, it's not that having kids makes you understand things differently. It just makes you understand a life with kids differently, right?
Yeah. And you have to live with some grace and understanding for others.
Oh, yeah.
Because you don't know what people are going through, especially people can put on a brave face and they got a whole bunch of crap going on.
I think a lot of people do. And I tell my kids that, though. And I think you've probably told your kids that, too. That understand that, you know, you never know what someone's going through. You don't. You really don't.
No.
And I think the people who put on the bravest face, and I've done it, and I admit to it, you just smile and you go through the days and you go home and you're just like, fuck, man, just take it all away, man. Yeah. Take away everything and just make that happy. But it's part of life, right?
It is.
It's not easy. But that's why
it's not easy. Being green. Little Kermit. Little Kermit to end the day.
Kermit the Frog. I love. Wasn't Jim Henson's birthday the other day?
Oh, was it?
25th, I think it said. Fun and games, my friend. Fun and games. Oh, well.
But you think, like, what a happy life that would be to make all those Muppets. But I'm sure, like,
he had hard times, too.
Right? Like, that was industry like no other. Category 1 right there.
Fraggle Rock.
Yeah.
I was talking about Fraggle Rock the other day. Polka Dot Door. Oh, like, even those shows aren't on TV anymore. I wish those shows were on TV. I try to find the stuff that our kids, like probably your and my kids watch for my nephew. Because a lot of the stuff now is like all like animated. There's no like I don't find a lot of people shows. Mm-hmm. Like.
Seriously.
Yeah.
That's why my girlfriend said just the other day, she got a mug from her niece. It said, Mr. Rogers did not adequately prepare me for the neighbors that I got. For the neighbors in my neighborhood.
Very true.
Oh, that's so true about so many levels, right?
I loved all those shows. Polka Dot Door, Today's Special. Like, there's none of that. Like, as a kid, you'd run home and watch all that. Like, it'd be dinner time and, you know, there's like Today's Special. And
one of my favorites with the kids is Bear in the Big Blue House.
Oh, don't even say that. That was my Nathan.
Oh, no.
It was Bear, Bath, and Bed. Or Bath, Bear, Bed. We had the 3 B's in our house. Triple B. It was always Nathan, like, welcome, welcome, welcome to the big blue house. And then he'd like sniff. And then Nathan wait. And he'd like get so excited. And they'd be like, oh, so
those are the
good.
Best moments, right?
Right, yeah. Oh.
Ours was snuggling in bed, reading a book. Carter would he would have his bath, and then he had these little old man pajamas, you know, with the wide pants and the little buttons up the front. And we'd get into bed, and he'd crawl into Sue Snoo. Sue Snoo was his favorite book. And
can you believe they were that small?
I know.
Like, where does that time go? Like, you just, I know I looked at Lucas I posted a picture of Lucas.
That's like 25 years ago. Oh, my God.
Like, yeah, there's so much time in life, right? There's so much time. Understand and think of everything that's happened in that 25 years. I tell the kids that all the time. I'm like, you're only 22. Like, there's so much time in this world. Use the time.
To find your authentic voice. Yeah.
Yeah. Just enjoy all the moments. Do the things you want to do. Do it with, like, happiness. Like, there's no rush. No rush. And if you do it, whatever. It is what it is.
It is what it is.
Thank you for joining us today at the Nucking Futz podcast.
If you like this podcast, please share by liking and subscribing. Feel free to leave any comments and reach us at hello@thenuckingfutz.com.
Just a reminder, this podcast is for entertainment purposes only. If you are struggling, know that you are not alone. Please reach out for professional help.
You can join our newsletter at thenuckingfutz.com to follow our journey. Looking for Donna at work? You can find her great leggings and leisure wear as well at She's Got Legs.
Looking for me, Melissa Hall? You can reach me at Brag About It Jewelry or I am Melissa Hall for real estate.